Hi guys, welcome back. All right, let's get into this, shall we? So this is going to be a today's topic video. It is going to be for the 20th of May, and we start out with the Hierophant. That is really lovely. It is strong energy of Taurus. There is a sense of deep wisdom. There is a sense of somebody calling in the connection to their higher self, to their ancestors, to their spirit guides. I feel like we probably should go with spirit animals on this. Let me just see real quick, because that feels like a pretty loud and clear message that this is somebody connecting to a guide. Gosh, I don't have any of my animal decks nearby, I don't think. We'll go with this one. This is nice and earthy. No, there we go. Okay. Sorry about the delay there. But we need the animals. Okay, we have an 8 of Swords. It is sideways. We've got the power of the Jaguar saying, free yourself. Don't be stuck anymore. Okay, this could be the story of a divine feminine who's on the 20th is really getting the download that there's no reason to feel stuck, feel entrapped. Here we go again with the bear. This is a Queen of Pentacles. Bears represent wisdom. Again, sideways. There is this energy of like, you just need to claim your birthright. You just need to claim your freedom, don't get stuck in your head. Don't think that you can't achieve more. Don't let anything be out of your grasp. If you want a big manor house that you're going to live in, a huge old mansion, you can have that. You can make that happen. This is not something that, the only thing that stops you from being able to dream bigger or envision where you belong or envision the life that you want to have. Maybe she wants to immigrate and she wants to work in a museum, be a museum curator at some lovely old estate somewhere in England. Hey, she can make that happen. Don't stop your dreams. Don't put up a blockage is what it says. Instead, fight for your dreams. We definitely have we've got the little turtle who turns into a little tank, and we've got I believe a hamster who is operating the turtle and his little gunner system here. It's kind of like if we could use the artillery just to break down walls so that we can move our dreams forward. This is about overcoming obstacles. And sometimes we do have to, our biggest thing to fight is our own mindset of I can't possibly be more successful. There's no way. We have the Magician. Time to talk to the cat. Cats do what they want. Cats go where they want to go. Cats control the universe in their own minds, right? That is what would behoove our character the most right now, is become the cat. Operate like a cat. Choose what you want. Decide what ledge you want to tippy-toe dance your way on and go do it. You've got this. You are the emperor. You are the magician. You are the empress. You are the person in charge of your dreams and goals. So you get to call in whatever you want, but you need to do it from that empowered state of the magician, right? This is really awesome. This is, I know, quite the internal pep talk. Here's the other thing. I believe this is maybe the number one most important thing. If our character kept putting a blockage in their mind saying, but no, first I'd have to pay all my dues and I'd have to work really hard and let other people take 50% of everything that I do off of me. And I have to humble myself and I have to be somebody else's performing monkey. And I have to save for 50 billion years before I'd ever be able to do anything where I could finance my own hopes and dreams. This says, stop thinking of it that way. Call in the avenues of success. Don't call in the obstacles, and don't call in the idea that your ability to live a good life, you have to first suffer before you're allowed to have a good life. This is, we have a character who's really being encouraged by the spirit guides right now to first recognize everything that you want, you can have, but you mustn't block it by making these decisions that when you manifest, you have to first call in obstacles for yourself. You can think of the wishes and dreams that you'd like to have, but then you go, no, I probably couldn't have that unless I do blah, 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 blah. 7 years of servitude before I could ever maybe have those small achievements that I want, or big achievements that I want. The ancestors are saying, no, don't manifest small. When you manifest as big as you can. This is, this huge, imagine the piñata breaking and all the yummy candy sprinkles out onto you and it's all yours. You made this special hit. You're the only one there playing with the piñata, and you're the one who ends up with all the yummy candy. It can all be yours unless you keep trying to envision, no, even if I work really hard, I'll still probably only get breadcrumbs. And all of this is the stumbling block to our character being able to manifest what they really want. Okay, can we see what is it that our character truly wants? Can we get a glimpse of this so we can maybe help our character like visualize it, because they know what they want? Three of Swords, they can't visualize it because they've got their blindfold on. Okay, this is a character, and by the way, this could be a Queen of Pentacles, even if this is a masculine. We saw a Queen of Pentacles here, so we could say it could be a Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus. We did have really strong Virgo and Gemini here. We also had strong Taurus right at the beginning with that first card with the Hierophant. Our character can't see what it is that they want because they've had a painful experience, and that has been blocking them. They have been blocking their own ability to call in what they want. Yeah, with the Nine of Cups sideways, they always think about other people's happiness instead of what they themselves would want. I'm wondering if this is a person who had to like carry a lot of other people on their back in life. You know, maybe they had to financially support adults in their life and when they were a kid, and they're used to always having to put whatever they want is like, well, I can't have that. I may only be 12, but I can't think about wanting, toys or something, because I need to figure out I'm going to get a job to help pay the rent, to help out with the family with, it could be stuff like that, where this is a character who's sacrificed their own happiness again and again, but learned how to care more about other people's happiness than their own. That is severely limiting their ability in this story. Please know, I don't mean this is true or anything. This is just what the story is. But this is what's limiting our character from being able to envision what they want for themselves. The Star. They kind of want to heal, and they also kind of wish that they could like be in another place in time. This could be a person who likes to read books that take them into other strata so that they escape their real life a little bit. Maybe they have lots of, this could be somebody who likes fantasy, or somebody who likes, time period pieces or books that take them into other universes where all kinds of things are possible. I just say that because the Star can be distance. It can be healing. It can be the desire for fame. It can be desire for goals to be met. But I think that this person has mostly either been unable to even contemplate what their true happiness would look like because they're more concerned about the happiness of others. And then they also have a hard time manifesting what they want because they use like escapism to cope with kind of like the world of confinement that they have known. I feel like we are talking about a character who is, again, had to carry a lot of other people's burdens. And that in turn primed them to not be able to want what they want and believe that they could ever have it, because they've always had so many limitations, so many responsibilities, so many expectations put on them that prevented them from believing that they could, just even have a dream of their own. So how do we get them past this? What's the single best thing that they could do to get themselves beyond that? Death card, transformation. And we see this person who is like levitating, elevating. Death card is shedding an old skin. This is a great time to do this. This is the year of the snake. This is a year for our character to get themselves out of the lost in the forest kind of energy, and for them to start saying, okay, I know what my life has been. I know what role I have played. I've been the person who had a ton of responsibilities, had a ton to worry about with other people. But what if that were a chapter of life, almost like it happened to somebody else? And what if, starting from today, I could look at the world through shiny, brand new eyeballs, like I'm not that person who used to have all those obligations. And what if instead I could just look at the world and say, what kinds of things would I like to have in my life? What if I could shed the old dialogue of what my life was? Very nice. And become the full-blown empress. Okay, so the single most important thing that our character could do is to change their mind so that they envision themselves as the person who, yes, look, we still have a character with a lot of responsibilities. An empress has a ton of responsibilities, but it's almost like the universe is asking them to change your mindset and imagine that the responsibilities that you have are more to delegate instead of to be continued like worker bee who has to work for breadcrumbs and is never the person who gets to like I'll say organize things and delegate. Imagine that you organize and delegate instead of you are the worker bee who has to work for crumbs. Imagine that in your life. Now you become the powerful individual who is the decision maker instead of the person who has to humbly wait for someone to like kick you a little bit of a leftover bone. That mindset shift, and especially I think it hinges on our character recognizing that they've done a lot in their life. This is a character who's already like, if they had to carry other people's responsibilities or things like that, then they've already proven that they are masterful at like making a silver spoon out of plastic, you know, to quote Jadina. I love Jadina. Uh, it's not long that live the chief. It's oh, sorry, the title of the track won't come into my mind. I don't think that's Long Live the Chief. Anyway, good song. We've got the future on the horizon, and we got the Knight of Wands. Okay, so our character has to focus on the adventure that they want, the romance that they want. If they want to meet some cowboy or some knight, if they want passion, if they want adventure, if they want to wear a red dress and travel somewhere, they need to start envisioning that and putting it on their calendar. The best way to make anything in life happen is to actually open up a calendar and put it, pencil it in on and put it, you know, on the calendar. So, you know, we're not even 6 months through this year yet. We're getting close to it, but we still have, I mean, 6 months is a long time. We can definitely set our sights on some things that we'd want to do and accomplish in 2025. We've got tons of time to still, you know, soak up the energy of 2025. So if there's something that our character wants to do, wants to change in their life, wants to delegate, wants to create, start making that a reality by actually looking at the calendar and saying, when in my upcoming future am I going to do this? Will I have this? And start making it a reality. Maybe this is somebody has to write it to manifest it, but I'm picturing a simple note on a calendar with a particular date that they want something to happen by will be enough. I don't know, maybe it's only me who's like this, but if I know that there's an appointment coming, I keep it in my mind like at all times. It's somewhere in the back of my mind. I have an appointment next month, you know, got that meeting, got whatever it is. And even if I'm not 100% on exactly what day it is, it's not like I'm photographic memory or anything, but I have this background noise in my head that says, these are the things I'd like to accomplish before that date. And although sometimes, you know, I can be a master procrastinator and then suddenly in a flurry, I get everything done right before the date. Still, I've set a timeline and it's on the calendar and I know that that timeline is coming and it's not going to be movable. I gotta, that's the one thing, you can't let yourself off the hook and move timelines. So now you know what you have to do between now and then to make that become a reality. And I'm thinking that that's what she needs to do. If she wants to have a different life, she wants to travel, she needs to buy the concert ticket so she knows she's going. She needs to buy the ticket so she knows she's taking the trip. She needs to make those things put on the calendar beforehand so that in like the next 3 months, she's got enough space so it's not stressful, but she knows that that's going to happen. And then her life starts to actually take the shape that she wants it to take. I feel like she wants passion. She wants travel. She wants adventure. Now we're having the breakthroughs. Judgment card. She wants some kind of reconciliation and or understanding or completion of something also. You notice she's standing here connecting to the universe here. I almost think this isn't about like, oh, I want to be back with an ex. This feels like she wants a new life, new love, but she also wants to tap in, not just once, but permanently be tapped into the flow of the universe, have a direct conduit to how do I communicate to the universe? How do I connect to the universe so I can interact with the universe? I want to make sure I can do that. I think she can. I definitely think she can. We have got this 9 of Pentacles, which is, again, talking to her ancestor. We've got this powerful, this is usually an ancestor on the other side of the veil, but this is her being very successful, listening to her instinct, her guide, her ancestor, and knowing that especially someone who's already had a lot of responsibilities that weren't even theirs to carry, means she's very capable of building, growing, and handling her business. Now, if she turns her attention and starts to just focus on her own life, think of how much she'll grow. Think of how much will expand. Think of how much, little by little, saving a little bit of money every day will add up. Think about when she puts her own energy into like her own side hustle, building her own empire, her own dream. She may take on like a second side hustle. Maybe that's what the universe is nudging her and the ancestors are nudging her to do. They're reminding her, sweetheart, you have a ton of power. If you direct more of your power to your dream and goal, instead of thinking that you have to stand there humbly, cap in hand, and ask someone if you're ever allowed to be successful. This says, baby, if you want that cabin by the lake, you can get it in possibly as little as 9 months. This is super empowering. This is amazing. It is all about, though, her changing her perception, or him. It doesn't matter. It just was a her consistently throughout this. Possibly an earth sign who, actually, I think that the message here is that this earth sign is very good at attracting money, wealth, finance into her life. I feel like her happiness, her love story, her adventure story, all of that has been a little bit in her mind hinging on whether or not she could, have the success in her life that she's wanted. And this all says, oh goodness, yes, she can. Yes, she can. All right, I'm going to leave that there, and we're going to pull a card just for somebody whose birthday might be on the 20th. And of course, a happy birthday to anyone whose birthday is the 20th. We have a 5 of Wands. This is sometimes practice fighting, play fighting, or analyzing something. It doesn't usually have a meanness to it. Even if there's frustration, it will usually yield better results. Sometimes you got to argue some stuff out and hash it out before you get to the answer of, it's like two people trying to problem solve and they're both opinionated. We got this Page of Wands sideways. Hang on. 5 is a number of change. Page of Wands sideways says we may have a perspective shift. 9 of Pentacles. This is amazing. Okay, so first off, for someone whose birthday is on the 20th, what they may discover is they're going to become way more open-minded, and they're going to realize that a lot of things in their life that seem to be conflict at first are not conflict at all. They are like maybe gifts or blessings that other people will have different opinions that we are not receptive to at first, but sometimes those different opinions are exactly what we needed to hear, because it either changes our mind and we go, maybe they did have a good point. Maybe I have been doing this in a harder way than I needed to. Maybe I could shortcut and they just gave me a more expedient route, even though I didn't agree with them at first, but they had some points. You know what? I think I'm actually going to take that advice, and then sure enough, it's going to yield great results. Or it's that we have a character who's like, wow, I'm hearing all this conflict. I got no interest in doing it the way they're doing it. I have come up with a better solution, and it's going to be a moneymaker, and it's going to be a way I can sidestep. Everybody else can get bogged down and try to follow some pattern that isn't working. But I can see where that wouldn't work, and I can avoid it and go a different route. This is somebody who could wind up making much better financial decisions. They could wind up having much greater success, and it's because they're simplifying their life. They're using any conversation, any piece of data that they get, whether they want to hear it or not. This is a character who will assimilate it, consider it, and then say, I heard this for a reason. Let me ask myself, what value would this have in my life? How can I use it to my advantage to make me more thoughtful or to help me make a better decision? And I feel like that is a brilliant character, and we see it yields massive results, positive results, and financial results too. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing.